Hey, what's up everyone? Happy New Year. Today's video is going to be going over pre-market routines and post-market routines that traders follow. This is going to be more geared towards beginner slash intermediate, as I'm assuming most advanced and sometimes even intermediate traders already follow these types of routines. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So to preface before we get started, this template right here that I'm going to be following is going to be available for download below. It's going to be on a Google Docs link, so you can use it on whatever application you prefer. I use Notion. Notion is my preferred application for pretty much all things trading and just in life in general. If you haven't used Notion before, I highly recommend it. But if you use OneNote or Google Docs or anything like that, or TradeZella or any other type of trading software, by all means, you can use this template there as well. So first, let's go over pre-market routine. And pre-market routine is not morning routine. It's pre-market routine. So morning routine, you do whatever you like to do, whatever you need to do to get into the right headspace. We're going to be covering trading related routines here. So on the pre-market routine, we have check news. Primary thing to do. As a futures trader, it's important to know the news catalysts for the day, if there are any, and what time that they fall on. I use Forex Factory. You can use whatever news website that you like to use. I've used Forex Factory since the beginning and haven't really found a reason to use anything else, at least not yet. And so this is my preferred website to use. It's a bank holiday today. It's National Day of Mourning for Jimmy Carter, so market is actually closed. But nonetheless, we want to check the news first, have a good understanding of what catalysts are going to be coming up that day. Next is going to be pre-market journaling. So here I have the pairs that I mainly trade, and it says potential setups on. So I have NQ open up here. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. We see that there's this resistance level up here, and maybe we can find a third bounce. So I would do something like this, draw up what I'm exactly looking for. I would then either download or copy the image, take a screenshot of it. So then I would go over to Notion, post my screenshot, and then type up my game plan. So I'll say something like waiting for price to reach level and reject. Cool, super simple. Then click potential setup on NQ. And then I'd go through all the pairs that I'm considering trading that day, see what has the cleanest setup, and then pick from those. Game plan isn't something to follow 100% super duper strict. It's just there to give you some parameters. It can be very difficult sometimes when you're focused on other things and thinking more emotionally and not logically to take good setups in the market. So the game plan that is there as parameters. Some what are those things at the bowling alleys? So it doesn't go into the gutter, the little bars that they pull up. It's like that. It's like guardrails so that you don't fly off the cliff. So this is just something to look back on, think, okay, what was my initial game plan when I was in a good state of mind that I made for this potential setup here? And then you want to follow that as close as possible, as long as the market, aligns with that plan and that setup that you were considering. Next is the goal. So this is the goal that you have for the day. It can be focus on 5-minute entries, because let's say you're trying to get better at your 5-minute entries, and hold trade until reverse. So that can be your goal for the day. You want to focus on 5-minute entries and hold the trade until it reverses. Hold the trade as long as possible, maximize your profits, something along those lines. Just make a goal for yourself for the day. This helps to keep the idea of progress moving forward in mind when you're actually in the trade, versus thinking of P&L or anything along those lines that you're going to get very emotionally skewed towards. Thinking of a goal that you're trying to work on to better yourself as a person and as a trader while you're actually in the trade is super helpful, because you have that to continuously look back on and think about how you're going to continue forward, throughout the whole week, throughout the trading year, and advance as a trader. So that is pretty much all of the pre-market routine. Another thing to add is I like to take a screenshot when my order pops up. So for this example, we can say right here, let's say this was the order, this doju above the level, and then we held it, whatever. I'll take a screenshot of my pretty much, what do they even call this thing? Like the short or long calculator? This box, or just my order lines, where my market entry was, the stop, and then my take profit order is. One of those two, I'll take a screenshot of that and then put it here on my entry screen. And that's all that I have going on for the pre-market / actually in the trade area. Then after we're done trading for the day, typically in the evening time, I'll do this around 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We go through the review section. So we're going to click journal because now we're going to be journaling. I'll list a couple things that I did right, typically 1 to 3 things, key things. If you're just beginning, you definitely want to be as detailed as possible because you're going to be able to look back on these at the end of the week and see the things that you're doing right and then really capitalize on those things and go extra hard in those if you can. Then secondly, we go to what did you do wrong? Obviously, list your errors out, be honest with yourself, don't lie to yourself. Remember, you're the only person that's actually looking at this. So if you're looking to actually get better, you want to be very honest, very transparent. What did you feel? It is vital to understand how you were feeling in the moment during your trades so that you can make sure that, if you're feeling anxious, you target that emotion and you figure out ways how you can deal with that anxiety while you're actually in the trade. Or if you're feeling jittery, excited, all these things, you want to notate them so that you can get a really good grasp of how you are emotionally as a trader, and then figure out the strengths and weaknesses of that and then work from there. And then lastly, what were you focusing on? These things can be outside of trading, but I like to mainly make them about trading. So for example, I could say here I was focusing on the break of structure right here that occurred. I was focusing on the break of structure that occurred on my setup, and that made me feel confident about the trade. Cool. Or let's say it was a trade that didn't work out. You can say I was focusing on my lower time frame bias and the trend on the lower time frame. However, the higher time frame was something I should have focused on instead. And so over the course of time, you'll have all these examples, all these data points that you can reference back on, and then really figure out the things that you should be focusing on and the things that you shouldn't be focusing on. Because also up top, we have your P&L that you would put and then the grade that you'd give yourself. So if consistently you see on your days that you grade yourself a D, a C, an F, you're focusing on this thing. But then on the days that you have really good P&L, you call them your A+ days, your B+ days, you're focusing on something else, you can tie together that, okay, I need to stop focusing on X and start focusing more on Y because I'm having better results with Y. Simple as that. Then next we have the changes I need to make from today. This is a note that you give yourself to carry on to the next day. So you definitely want to review this in the morning of the next trading day. Changes I need to make from today can be let trade run longer when market is still in my favor. Something super simple, which can relate to the goal. Hold trade until it reverses. Hold the trade longer. Let the trade run longer. All right, now I definitely know for the next day, these are things I'm going to be having super solidified in the back of my head. So that hopefully you end that day completing the changes that you needed to make. And then lastly, the key takeaway, biggest lesson that you learned that day. I like to just put one because it's really easy for me to hold on to that next following day. And these things will add up and you'll see maybe the same takeaways pop up consistently. And that's something that you can then take away and really hold to yourself. Man, I need to really process this information or hold on to this information, solidify it within myself. And then lastly, the exit screen. So the exit screen is just a screenshot of the exit of your trade. where it ended. And then also I'll like to put an end of day screenshot on there just so I can see how price fluctuated that whole day, and I can look at it and see what other potential entries or setups that I missed out on or could have capitalized on. But yeah, this is the whole pre-market slash post-market routine that most traders follow and should follow. Most advanced traders, because I definitely didn't do stuff like this in the beginning, but it is vital to keep data points and track your progress as a trader. There's no one else that's going to hold you accountable but you. So putting in this type of work is extremely, extremely valuable, especially when you get to have years worth of data and you can look back on how much you've actually grown and then see the key things that were holding you back and how you overcame them. It's great to do. So with all that being said, once again, the link for this is going to be down below. And take care, guys. Thank you for watching.